Look, I'm really happy to be here today. It's an important day for Montgomery County, and it's something worth acknowledging. There's something I wanted to share with you. I don't know how many people realize this, but Montgomery County in 1970 was a 95% white community, 4.5% black, 0.5% everybody else. Black families did not have the right to buy a home in most of Montgomery County until after the Fair Housing Act in 1967, systematically excluded from almost every place in Montgomery County. The first integrated development was built in Silver Spring off of East-West Highway. It was a small neighborhood, but it was the first time that a developer didn't put covenants. And you weren't alone, because all the covenants affected two groups of people, blacks and Jews. Occasionally Catholics are thrown in for good measure. So this is a very different county. Today you sit in a county that is no longer 95% white. The African American population has grown to over 20% of Montgomery County. The Hispanic population is 21% of Montgomery County. The Asian population is 16% of Montgomery County. This is a remarkable transformation of a place. And I think it was only possible because there are enough open-minded people here to say this change is going to be okay and that we're going to be okay. And that's an important thing that I think we've grown into. But it was a long time getting there. And the scars on the community are not all healed. And this is a prime example of it. You do not have 500 acres anymore. And all that wealth was taken by somebody else. And we will never get it back. I've toyed with the idea, could I put a reparations policy, a special tax on areas where people bought up something like this and say, maybe you should pay a tax to build it back. I don't think I could legally do that, but I've pondered it. Because finding out how you make things right and doing things right is a big task, but we have to be willing to undertake a big task. This church was a big task for this community. And it's remarkable because I was not here that long ago, and all I saw was what you had done to the hillside to stabilize the hillside. I come back now, and this building, which you had dreamed of, which is such an addition to the church to let you carry your work bigger than what you could do in the walls of the church, to be able to do more with your community and enrich your community in ways that you dreamed about, is a reality. And I'm just thrilled to see this here. The folks who built this have been working on this. This is really something you should be proud of. All of you who contributed to making this happen, we're all indebted to you. This is important. Montgomery County played a part, but it played a small part. And you are now most of the way there, but not quite all the way there. And that's part of why we're here today, is to help get us over and past the next stage of getting the rest of the fundraising done, so this can be everything that it's supposed to be. And it will be everything that it's supposed to be. We're not going to stop short. You've come too far to say this is the end. You've come too far to say we'll settle for something less. This is the opportunity to get what you need. And I told you before, the other task we have to deal with is the housing situation. The townhouses that were built and not meant to last. The townhouses were built in the spirit of these people won't be here. Let's not build something that could last for 100 years. Let's build something that maybe lasts 30 years, if we're lucky. And it has not worn well. And so that's something else that we have an obligation, and we will find ways to address that problem and to fix that problem, because you can't do this and not do that. People are formed in their lived experiences in their environment. Everybody deserves the right to have a decent roof over their head. Everybody has the right to be able to go to a school and have all the opportunities all the rest of us have ever had. We've got to make sure that all those other things come into place, because it's no one thing. When our society has gone as far down the track as we have toward tearing people apart, you don't put it back together with one thing symbolically. Nobody's going to say this is the greatest thing and ignore everything else that sits out there. And so we have to commit ourselves to doing all the work that we have to do, so that at some point everybody can say, we all have a place here, we are all welcome here, our kids all have opportunity here, but that's the kind of place that we can build. It's one of the the best things I think about being the county executive of Montgomery County is you can talk like this and get away with it. I am not in some state where this would be considered dangerous language, or people would say, what planet do you live on? I live in Montgomery County. I live in a place where there's enough consciousness that there are still those who don't participate, but they're a minority. And we have the ability to shape this county in the view of what most people who live here want this county to become. And I'm confident that we can get this work done, and we will persist. And anybody who's been in struggle a long time, you know that you run this struggle as long as you can, knowing that you're bringing up people behind you to continue doing the work that you did. This is not a one and done thing, and it's not something that other people are going to forget. It's something that you're going to pass on. So you've got an incredible story here. Your children and your grandchildren are going to have something they can look at, and I hope every time they come in here, they're reminded of the path it took to get here. It really does make a difference. I look forward to working with you. I know that, you know, the county government, like I said, our role is not done in this, and we will find more ways. I'm glad that you told me our people in permitting were helpful. This is always one of the things that we're really concerned about, and it's good to know that your concerns got taken seriously by the people who, and sometimes you must feel like they hold your fate in their hands, and they perform their jobs in a way that's really gives me a lot of pride, and I'll convey that back to the people that you talked about. Everybody needs to know what they did to make this possible. So I look forward to more, and I look forward to another an amazing celebration that you put on in the spring. That was probably the most remarkable of all the remembrances of the Emancipation Proclamation's final step, Juneteenth. And I've never seen anything like that, and I hope that Montgomery County Juneteenth becomes an equivalent of the 4th of July, because the 4th of July was surely not the black community's 4th of July ever. It was pretty much meaningless, and you have a 4th of July or a Juneteenth, which is kind of the moral equivalent of that, and I'd like to see that raised up to a higher level so that everybody comes out and celebrates that the way we expect everybody to come out and celebrate the 4th of July. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for your perseverance, and we will all carry on.